Bloody book again. I know what page we're on this time. What's cool about this book is you can actually flick through it by the year, so I know we need 1973. Jamaica, also known as D'yer Mak'er, written by Jimmy Page and Robert Plant. The Genesis. This second track on side 2 of the Houses of the Holy LP also derived from a jam session at the Stargroves mansion, and once again, the original idea came from John Bonham with a doo-wop beat that very soon veered towards the Caribbean. Probably had a couple of cans of Red Stripe down by the hi-hat. So the Led Zeppelin 4 made a curious and unexpected venture into reggae, a musical style that was still little known in Europe and the United States in 1972. Besides the music itself, the title of this track confirms that one island in particular had caught their attention. Rather than being yet another esoteric reference, which is how many fans interpreted it, D'yer Mak'er is simply a play on the way Jamaica is pronounced by the English. If there is a hidden meaning, it can be found in an old British joke. Perfect. My wife went on vacation to the West Indies. Jamaica? No, she went of her own accord. Get it? Jimmy Page was surprised to find so many people had trouble understanding the title. I didn't expect people not to get it. I thought it was pretty obvious. Robert Plant's lyrics similarly come with a good dose of humour and are not meant to be taken literally. The narrator, apparently madly in love, does not want his girlfriend to go away and has shed many tears. When I read the letter you wrote me, it made me mad, mad, mad. When I read the news that it told me, it made me sad, 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 he sings. I always thought that if Jamaica came out in the 90s, that Peter Andre would have had a #1 hit with it. Oh wait, he did. It was called Mysterious Girl. Pretty much the same thing. Naughty, naughty, Mr. Andre. I'll see you in court. Don't know what I'm doing there. Spectating. I'm not in the band. Little fact here for the Zepp addicts. Evidence of the influence of doo-wop on D'yer Mak'er on the inner sleeve of the album below the lyrics. We find the words, whatever happened to Rosie and the Originals. Rosie and the Originals were a doo-wop group that had their moment of glory in 1960 with the hit Angel Baby. Didn't know that. Didn't know any of that. I knew absolutely nothing of that. So I guess I'm not a true addict. There's a very cool picture of John Bonham here. How cool is that? Apparently it took John Bonham some time to fully master the particular rhythm of reggae. I doubt that. I mean, it says that up there, but come on. Look at him. He was born mastered in reggae. And that small lie concludes story time. Easy, right? Wrong. That is a little song by Led Zeppelin called Jamaica. Now, I think that song title only works if you've got an English accent because it's a pun, isn't it? It's a crap joke, something that we're familiar with on this channel. It's a reggae tune from the album Houses of the Holy, which just turned 50. If you didn't know that, then I suggest that you go and get in the bath with my girlfriend because she's got a lovely little story that she'd like to read to you. Go on, then come back here. What the hell was that? It's one of them 90s sitcom American guitar fills, scene to scene. Now, tuning. I had to think then. I lost the plot, all right? Tuning. The song is in standard tuning. Thank the rock gods. However, if you listen closely when you're playing along, you think, God, I sound awful. And you do. And the reason is, it's standard tuning, but 50 cents flat. Now, a couple of options. You can tune yourself down by 50 cents, or you could drag the track into Logic and tune the whole thing up by 50 cents, which is what I've done to work it out easier and play along to it, have some fun. So the first thing I'm going to show you are the 4 chord shapes that you're going to need for that main riff. So we've got the top of a C major chord. So from the D string to the high E, that's going to be 10, 9, 8, 8. Just the top of a C major bar chord. Then slide that down to A minor, 5, 7, 7, 7. And then down to an F major, back up to a G major. It's a very beautiful chord progression, and one that you've only heard a cajillion times. Now, we're going to put some extra little flavorings on the top of that, some sliding melody notes. So for the C, you can put your pinky on the 10th fret of the high E, slide up to 12. You can also do a little harmony here, which is putting your 3rd finger on the 10th fret of the G and slide that up to the 12 as well. On the A minor, you're only ever going to hit the 7 on the high E and then slide that to the 8, just a semitone. F and G are the same as the C. All right, so that's everything you need for that main riff in terms of shape. This is where it gets tricky. Now, for me, whenever I'm picking something that's like a chord arpeggiated, I've always gravitated towards kind of picking efficiently in the direction that I'm moving. But I think in order to get this reggae feel, you have to alternate pick everything, even if you're moving that way or this way. So, on that C major, I want you to go like this. Literally picking up that triad and back down. And then just start by hitting the high E and slide up 2 frets. As you move to the next chord, try and catch 2 percussive mutes on the way. And that completes your alternate picking. It never breaks the helix, the DNA of rhythm. On the A minor, try the exact same thing. 2 mutes as you make your way down to the F. And then those 2 mutes were already in the position of G, which is cool. And then 2 mutes again on the way back up to the C. It's really important that you keep the hand moving between the chord shapes, because if you keep it still, you're going to have really quick chord changes from like here to here. The mutes give you that time, those little musical breaths to change. So, next thing you can do is try and experiment with the harmony at the top. The only little variation when it first kicks in, I like to leave out the 2nd G string, so you just get the D, and then the B, then the G. And then hit your flow, get that constant rhythm going. Now, where I think you could go wrong with this riff is if you try to make every single repeat identical and then stress yourself out if you duff something, because Jimmy's not about that and the track isn't. If you listen, there's something different each time, whether it be an accent, stronger hit, one of the notes, a different note. Maybe one time he just slides up on the high E for the first two and then does the harmony for the last two chords. It changes every time and it keeps the ear excited, right? It keeps you listening. For me, that's got the right vibe and it sounds like the track. The other couple of variations that you want to practice, instead of hitting D, G, B, G, try D, E, B, G. Again, keep that alternate picking. And the more you practice it, it'll just kind of relax into a strum. And it doesn't matter if you brush a couple of strings. He'll do a few repeats of that together, or maybe he just chucks one into the middle of the previous one I showed you. Let me try and mix it up a little bit now. It's cool. As soon as you get both of them down and you go between the two, you really do set yourself free. You're not bothered if you do something that you weren't intending to do, because that right hand's just going naturally. As long as you get the chord shape right, and you don't duff that, no one's gonna know. And if they do know, send them around my house. Don't send them around my house. I've told you about this. It's an inconvenience. One more variation. This happens in the outro, right? I'll stop there before I get defeated by it. So the only thing we're going to do now is replace the mutes at the end with some extra repeats of those like melodic high notes, right? So it's the high variation to start, and then you've got this. So for the C chord, it'll be 8, 10, 12, 12. For the A minor, it'll be 5, 7, 8, 8. For the F, same as the C in terms of its tonal spacing. And then the G. If you want to add in the little harmony as well, you can throw that third finger onto the G string. Just keep the right hand going. Don't concern yourself with any weird noises or mistakes like that. This is why I don't sing. Just go through it. Build up your speed. Relax and have fun. You'll be pleased to know that that's the most difficult thing in the tune. And once you've got it down, the rest of it's pretty straightforward, even the solo. So, in between those main riffs in the verse, you've got this. So what I like to do here is just hit an inversion of an A minor bar chord. So that's 7, 7 on the A and the D, and then I have my index finger on the 5th fret, the G, the minor third, sometimes catching the B as well. I don't even hit the bass note. You can let JPJ take care of that. And then you've got these cool little hammer-on pull-off double stops. I'm going to show you one that kind of sounds like what's going on, but you can just have some fun and make up a different one each time. First one that I do, I hit the 5th fret of the A and the D, then just hammer on 3rd finger to the 7th fret, and then move that all up a string. Hit that 3 times. Do it again. Last time, hammer on pull off, 7th fret of the D. But remember it's a double stop, so hit both strings. And then just walk back down, 7, 5. Two exits. You either go back to your or you go into this. What I think sounds most like the track here is to keep that A minor shape that we had on before, this rhythm, but where it feels right, according to you, or the track, just lift the 3rd and the 4th fingers off. So you go in between 5th fret of the A and the D and 7th fret. First time I like to just put 1 in at the end, and then I come down to a G major. That G shape stays put, I don't move it. Second time, back to the A minor, I might chuck in one of those extra 5th fret double stops. Down to the G. Third time, I like to start with it. So it's been exponential, right? Introducing the cool double stop notes. More and more each time. Back to the G. Now, this is what we've got to finish. So, F major triad in open position, 3, 2, 1, D, G, B, and start with the root note and then just cycle round the chord descending. You're going to stop on that major third in the middle. If you want to make it sound brittle and kind of warping like the track, you could pick a little bit closer to the bridge, maybe just keep the hand shaking. So for this next bit, we're going to slide that F major shape up a tone to G. So we're going to pick the G triad the exact same way as the F, but just finish a little bit sooner. After that major third, what I do is swap the 3rd and the 2nd fingers for the major third and the perfect 5th. Use the index to grab the F in the bass, okay? Then your index will move down and then to the open. Okay? Picking pattern wise, you're going to start on that D note on the B string. down to the D string, and then back up. And then move down. If you don't want that break in there, you could do it like this. You just have that extra root note in there. But I like stopping on that major third because it gives us a split second to just change that shape cleanly. It's a very sweet little solo, isn't it? Deserves our attention. In the key of C major. Predominantly in this position. Briefly. In this position. But not in this position. Do you know why? Because I said so. First part of the solo goes like this. Seventh fret of the G, whole tone, pre-bend release. Fifth fret of the G, and then you're going to bend the sixth fret of the B up a whole step. Down, back to the 5, and then 7 on the G, 7 on the D. Next part. So we start by sliding into the 9th fret of the G with the second finger, and then we're going to bend the 10th fret of the B up, whole step, hit it twice after you've done that. On the third time, let it down, and then come back to the 8th fret. Bend the 10th fret of the high E, whole step, down, back to the 8, and now it just sounds like a little semitone push really on that 10th fret. Back down and back to the 8. To finish, you're going to bend the B string on the 8th fret up, whole step. It all feels really hurried, that phrase, like it's not just bouncing with the beat, he's kind of pushing. Next phrase starts from where we left it off. So pre-bend release the 8th fret of the B down and then come back to the 5. And then you're going to very quickly bend the 7th fret of the G up and down and then back to the 5. Back to the 7 on the D. And then 5th fret of the G. Very tiny little cheeky push. Then you're going to pre-bend release 7th fret of the G, really milk this one, and then go back and forth between the 5, 7, 5, G, D, G. Together. And then the last phrase goes like this. Very similar to what we did before, starting on the 9th fret of the G, bend the 10th fret of the B up, whole step, hit it when it's up there, down, back to the 8, and then you're going to finish by bending 10th fret, high E up, whole step, whole tone. Again, that's kind of hurried. And we're done. That was my full in-depth lesson of D'yer Mak'er by Led Zeppelin. How do you say it? I know it's going to be hard to write that in the comment section below. You could just end up writing Jamaican and I'll be like, oh, they say it the same as me. But I think it's easier to say it if you're British because we tend to kind of slang a lot of our words. So if I was going to say like, do you want a hand with that? Do you want a hand with that? It's basically like do you want a hand with that? The D-Y becomes a J, so Jamaica. No, I didn't make her, she did it by herself. Do you get it? Do you finally get it? If I'm the person that's finally helped you to get that, I'll be gobsmacked and disappointed, to be honest. You need to get out there more, come on. Right, I've gone off on a Mighty Boosh tangent again. Let's wind it in. Hope you enjoyed the lesson. If you did, like, subscribe, bell next to it. Leave me a comment below saying, oi, that was meant. And if you want some extra help, chat with me, learning materials, tabs, backing tracks, you name it. You can head over to my Patreon and you can support the channel there and get involved. There's a lovely, jubbly little community of people over there chatting away. But yeah, Houses of the Holy turned 50 this month, 2 days apart between Britain and the US, but it turned 50. And it makes me feel relatively young, to be honest. No, it doesn't make me feel old. Tragic. But it's a very cool album, very varied. And if you haven't checked out Storytime, like I mentioned before, then go and do so, because it was a fun little video that I made with Gab. It's the only time I could probably get away with saying, you know, you want to go and see my missus in the bath, now's your chance. But I won't make a habit of that, believe me. Anyway, I'm off now because Gab's practicing guitar and she was like, how long are you going to be? I was like, I'll be about half an hour more, love. She's like, right, well, I want to go gym. I was like, all right, we'll go gym then. Because I'm a fat knacker and I need to get on the rowing machine. So, you'll see me in the next video. I'll be trim, don't you worry. Hope you've had fun. I'll see you soon.